Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I am just a casual sim racer, and today I want to highlight an awesome new mod by Nicecuppatea. I've linked it down in the video description and it's available on Race Department, and that is the 1937 Bugatti Type 57G tank. This is an amazing mod that Nicecuppatea has recreated and brought to life within Assetto Corsa. There isn't a lot of available data for this car, but using a lot of in-depth research, and then of course I'm sure some guesswork and some formulas and things like that, he was able to create a car that just is fantastic within the game and is, spectacular from all that I've done in research in terms of replicating the real-life car. Now you'll also find down in the video description links to two of Legion's cars to kind of complete a 1930s Le Mans car set, and that is the Mercedes SSK and the Bentley blower. And so as you can see here, I'm doing a race. I've just gotten off the line and I've got traffic right here, just kind of taking it easy, coasting, not pushing too hard, trying to find my way through the grid here at the start. I'm up to 33rd out of the 54 car grid, and so we're going to see how far we get up to through the field. Right now I've got two cars here, definitely not going to want to push things. It's going to be a 3-lap race here, so it'll be pretty quick, but Le Mans is a pretty long lap, so definitely some time to work up through the field. Top 10 would definitely be nice. Kind of shooting for something, maybe a top 6 would be cool too. So we'll see how far I get up. Right here on when Le Mans was just streets, the tightness of the roads. I mean, parts of Le Mans still are streets, but the tightness of the road back in this is the 60s versions of Le Mans, the Le Grand 1967 track mod. That's available in the video description as well, so check that out. It's a great mod to pair with this set of cars that I've put together. So, alright, so pulling out on the straight here. So, Bentley had won at Le Mans 5 times through the 1920s, often beating out Ettore Bugatti's more refined cars. Ettore called the Bentleys lorries at least one occasion he called them that. And the Bentleys really, they dominated the 1920s, but as you can see, there's a Bentley on my left, there's a Mercedes, but the Bentleys definitely aren't as refined as the Bugatti cars. And not that the Bugattis back in the 20s were tanks and super streamlined, but they were more elegant. At least for a large majority would say they're more elegant than the Bentleys. And so the Bentley lorries definitely dominated that early era, and Ettore Bugatti was left somewhat frustrated with coming up runner-up or having some disastrous finishes and definitely falling short of this goal and dream of winning the 24 Hours Le Mans. Even early on, there was a lot of prestige attached to this race. Alright, we got another tank here. We're going to have to... Alright, he's moving over for us, I think. Alright, yeah, so we can get by him. The thing about the Bugatti, it carries a ton of speed. The Type 57G carries a ton of speed on the straights, and it's very stable. It's a wonderful car at top speed. So on the Mulsanne, it's just... that's its element. It was designed, it's a Le Mans designed car. I mean, it also won in France, the French Grand Prix, as well in 1936 in real life. But then it also came here and did really well, and so it was really quite a good car. Under braking though, like you have to leave quite a long braking distance. I start braking around the 450 mark at the end of Mulsanne straight to get down in time. It's not got great brakes. It's a very heavy car, and it tends to understeer quite a bit. But it is stable. It's not that difficult of a car. It just feels really heavy to drive. So that's kind of the driving experience. So let's see. We're up to 20th. Doing pretty good here. We've actually moved through the field pretty quickly. I've got the AI set all the way from 95 to 75. So a very large spread on the AI for this race. Oof. Gonna have to make sure these cars don't pull out and end up having to clip one. The brakes on this I can't slow the car down quick if people do quick reactions. So like I was saying, let's see if we can move up the inside. Yeah, coasted on in through here, shift down to first, and to 19th. Definitely the Bugattis and the Bentleys and the Mercedes on the acceleration, especially the Bentleys. I don't know so much about the Mercedes. I think they're about the same, maybe just a little bit quicker. But the Bentleys, as you can see, they really got that get up and go from the acceleration. That's the area they clearly have an advantage over the Bugattis. It's just there's so many long straights here at Le Mans. The advancements within the streamlining, the engine, which is just a big, heavy, stable, powerful engine that can get that heavy car up to high speeds. It's just too big of an advantage, really, and it really is the class of the field amongst these cars. So you're definitely going to be competing. If you mess with this pack of cars that I've put together, you're definitely going to be competing against the other Bugattis for the win. But it is fun to have some of the cars to pass and race against. So, anyways, but back to what I was saying, the Bentleys had dominated the 1920s. And then Alfa Romeo dominated the first half of the 1930s at Le Mans. But Ettore Bugatti spent his time pretty well during the 1936 workers' strike, which had canceled the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and revealed their new Type 57G tank, which I'm driving here. That went on, as I mentioned, to win the 1936 French Grand Prix, which it wasn't like a regular Grand Prix race like you might think. It was I'm going to pass some cars here on the straight. But it was a premier sports car race, so it was more of, think of like maybe Sebring or Daytona or something like that. Like, it's this premier sports car race that year. So there was some hype behind this car, and then the car headed to the 1937 edition of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Now, in 1937, neither Bentley nor Mercedes actually competed at Le Mans in real life, but due to the current lack of 1930 sports cars in Assetto Corsa, we're going to have to play a bit of historical fiction. At least that's what I'm doing here, and you can join me by downloading the mods. It's a lot of fun. And it does set up a pretty nice 1937 24 hours, 24-hour edition to race. Alright, that was a nice pass there. Get up the inside, get through the gears, and get back to this car's happy place. So, for some reason, in our historical fiction Le Mans, the Alfa Romeos decided not to enter. Perhaps that win in 1936 scared them off. They knew the competition was going to be too great. Whatever the case we want to come up with, it leaves the two historical rivals, Bugatti and Bentley, going practically head-to-head. They're going head-to-head in this race to capture victory at Le Mans. Remember, Bugatti's never won. Bentley's got 5 wins. Even though there's the new car, will something go wrong? Who knows? That could be the storylines before our race here. But don't completely forget the third manufacturer who entered the cars into today's race, and that's the Mercedes out there. Now, in real life, Mercedes had also had its share of close defeats to the powerful Bentley lorries. And although the SSK was well past its prime, if we look at our race, the lack of entrants probably convinced them to enter a fleet of cars, hoping that with some luck and maybe some mechanical failures on its opponent's behalf, perhaps they could sneak off with a victory here, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So that's the stage that I have set for us, and in this race here that I'm running. And so we're up. I start in the back of the grid, of course, to just work my way up to the field, but I'll show you the results at the end of the race, and we're able to see how it all works out. Alright, coming up to the end of Mulsanne, applying the brakes here, a bit of trail braking, and then slamming it back on hard. Gotta drop that speed down. Got some cars up here. Work our way around the corner. Oh, we got a rogue SSK able to work around the back there and get back going. That worked out pretty well. Up a couple more spots. So, not even through the second lap, and like I said, remember, this is a pretty long lap at Le Mans. It's over a 6-minute lap, even in the best lap times. And so we're going to be pushing here, see if we can get up, maybe top 10 by the end of this lap, and that would set us up for that kind of what I was hoping for, best case scenario, top 6. So driving through the trees here, this is really just fantastic. I mean, this car is so stable and it really is fun. I don't know how it would drive. I haven't driven it yet at a really tight street course or anything. I don't know why I would. I mean, I'm weird, so I probably will at some point just to see, but definitely, Sitges is kind of crazy. That's about the craziest thing I've done, is take it to the new Sitges track that was released by Sergio Loro and that was a crazy experience, but definitely pretty fun. I don't know the race. I didn't do a run race. I just ran the car on by itself, and it was, you know, a little bit of oversteer there. That's a little bit hard to induce. This car does not induce wheel spin very easily, even in first gear from a standstill. It really is a heavy car pushing those tires into the pavement, so you really have a lot of traction. The gearing is definitely set up for the high speed. In this, there's no settings. Like, there's some settings to adjust, but you can't adjust the gearing in this car. So yeah, for the front, the first shot, I want to do that burnout at the start, and I was realizing, no, this car won't burn out, so I actually had to go into the physics, and I had to alter the final drive of the car and put it 8.36 or whatever it was instead of a 3.36, so that I could actually get a burnout for the opening shot. So it's just some trivia that you may not have realized. But yeah, the car normally, I think it's pretty much impossible to. Oh, we're gonna pass here. That was actually kind of surprisingly easy. I almost feels like they let me by, which of course not in Assetto Corsa, but we're gonna say they let us by because we had the speed and had some team orders there from the pits coming up. So we're closing up here real quick. We're already up into 9th, and so that will be really good. Here I see another Bugatti ahead of us, and so do our best to catch this one going up under the Dunlop Bridge. Alrighty, here, pulling up behind, gonna apply some braking. Really, this track has really been done. I don't know how many updates have been done to it, but it really looks good, even though it's not one of the latest releases for a track mod. But it really is a really nice mod. It's my, I think, 3rd most driven track. My number 1 is Avis, because I do like testing for a lot of cars top speed, so that just gets a lot of cars driven on it. I think my number 2 is not Brimgarden. It was the track in New Jersey. Oh, the name is slipping my mind. Anyways, that track was by the beach. It's in a beautiful mod done by Lil Ski, just fantastic. That track, and then this is my 3rd most driven track in Assetto Corsa. So it really is great. So we're back on the Mulsanne, getting past the other Bugatti, and we're gonna shift over here. As you can see, the car hits about 133 top end. I've hit 134 in practice when I was in the tow. So that is about the top end of this car. You're not nearly nearing the top of its gearing, so if you were on a steep enough course, I could foreseeably see it hitting maybe 140 without too many issues when it's in this 4th gear. As you can see right now, it's kind of flat, about 131, and then once the track starts to dip down a bit, we'll be able to get up to 132, 133. Definitely got a little ways to go here to catch up to the front. As you can see, it looks like got about 8 seconds to 6th. Closing in on 7th here. Should catch up to 7th by the end of the Mulsanne straight, if I don't screw anything up. Okay, brake just a little bit around the 400 meter board. So we're gonna catch the Bentley here. Do our best here to pass. Alrighty, and pretty smooth corner right there, so that'll be pretty good for us. Alrighty, in the draft here. I'm not just drifting a little bit inside to take the corner, so we'll pass him on the high side here. Alrighty. So we only got a few more corners to go here. Coming in, as you can see, it's like through these tight corners here, at 90 degrees with acceleration. The Bentley is actually faster than the Bugatti, but we'll pull away here now that we're heading back onto the straightaway, about to head back towards the start-finish line. Sixth place is right there. See if we can get past the green Bugatti and then finish with the top 6 that I will be very pleased with. Let's see if we can get a run here. Oh, but I have to cut it up the inside again. And that time was even really aggressive. They slow down quite a bit to that corner. You can actually carry a lot of speed, at least in the Bugatti, because it's a stable car. So, and actually at high speed, in some ways, it's more stable. So through that corner, if you turn it in soon enough, get the power down, you can be almost flat out. Just lift a little bit, let the car settle in the corner, and then just keep going. And you can fly through there. So that's how we make a brave pass to get up into 6th. And that's where we're going to finish. So 6th place in that, a 3-lap race around Le Mans, recreating the 1937 24 Hours of Le Mans. So I'm going to pull up here in a little bit. I'll pull up the finishing order. As you can see, it's a Bugatti 57G, Bugatti. There we got a Mercedes SSK ahead of us. That is a shocker in 5th. Really not the least, the worst performing of the 3 cars that we have here in this set that I've put together. So definitely, as you look down, you can see you start getting to the Bentley blowers, and then there's definitely more Mercedes SSKs. But that Mercedes SSK, that's a fantastic drive by Barber to get into 5th place. So that is just definitely something interesting. But of course, what was expected has happened. Bugatti has swept. Bugatti has claimed their first 24 Hours of Le Mans victory, and Ettore is definitely excited. He's accomplished one of his big goals for the company and his race team, and he's celebrating with his team in the pit. So that's definitely a big win for them. And having drove for the Bugatti team and finished 6th after starting in last, it's a late replacement. It was definitely pleased with my performance. It was definitely a lot of fun. So, well, I encourage you all to check out these links that I've put together down below. Just a fantastic mod, as I've already stated. This is just something that I really enjoy. I want to thank you all, especially those of you who support my channel by subscribing. And, most of all, I hope you have a great rest of your week.